How you doing, fish people? This is Josh with the Ohio Fish Rescue. Of course, we've got Brutus right there. He's never too far behind. But as you guys know, I usually do a monthly update and I give you guys the rundown on what's been happening here at the rescue, what we're in the midst of doing, and our plans for moving forward. So as you guys know, we are a rescue and we get in tons of fish all the time, and but things don't always work out as planned. Today I come home from work, the fish tanks are looking great as always, but I look over at the 3,000 gallon tank and yes, we are sad to say we had another one of our members pass. As you guys can see, there's not really nothing wrong with them. I had no idea that this would be happening soon. So sometimes you just lose fish out of the blue. Now this is a red-tailed cat tiger shovelnose hybrid that we've had here for quite some time. I'm gonna go ahead and get him out of the tank, and I'll tell you a little bit of the background story on this guy. Alright guys, so I just got the fish out of the tank. Now I did stick a tape measure on him. As you can see, he is 27 inches. Now you guys can see this little white spot here, and that's where the Placo is just sucking on him, because after things, die, fish tend to nibble on them. And this was right where that big old Placo was sucking on him. So the backstory on this guy here, he came from us. He was one of our actually first rescued red-tailed cat tiger shovelnose hybrid cats. And the story behind him is we went down to, I think it was like Columbus or something like that. It was right outside of Columbus. I can't remember the name, but the house was pretty much had the power shut off. The people were evicted, and they needed somewhere for the fish to go. Now this wasn't a rescue per se, that it was free to a good home. I actually bought this fish for $100 because I felt bad for him, and we actually didn't have one at the time, and so I went down there and I basically saved this catfish, and he had lived here for quite some time. Now most of the time when you have big catfish in a small tank, they are stunted in growth, and they don't really grow too often. So this guy here is actually older than some of these guys in the actual pond. Here, let me see if I can find them. So some of our big guys right here, he's closing in on 34 inches, but our big guy here, he's actually the youngest right here. This is one that we actually grew out. We got in at probably about 14 inches and then we grew him out. But it goes to say, sometimes fish get stunted and they don't really grow to their potential. That's why this guy was not in the pond with these guys, because he was still a bit too small in my opinion. That guy right there is probably over 40 inches long. He's about a foot wide. He's a big boy for a hybrid. Oh, look at this. You got the turtle coming up to say hi. I scared him. But like I was saying, it's kind of sad to see him go, because he was one of the first ones that we had gotten back, and he was a big boy. Not gonna dispute his size. That's right there on the tape, 27.5 inches or so. But enough with the sad parts. I'm gonna go ahead and get him all wrapped up and put in the freezer. Then we can move on to happier parts of the. So some of you guys might be thinking, why did I just say that I'm going to wrap this fish up and stick him in the freezer? Well, for one, it's dual purpose. Well, all the fish around here that actually, we have a sentimental attachment to, we like to freeze them so we can find someone that's going to mount them. And our idea was to basically have all of our mascots and stuff at the rescue hanging up on the wall, just like this mounted fish right there. I think that would be a pretty neat idea. But another reason we do it, well, there's actually three. The second reason would be we do donate some of the fish carcasses to, museums or different societies that actually want the fish bodies for educational purposes. So we might send it to one guy who's got a colony of derma beetles, and he basically puts the fish in there and they eat all the flesh off the bones. And then he'll take the bones, reconfigure it, and put it on display in his museum. Others might, if it's a rare fish that you don't normally see too often, they'll do a autopsy on it and, take it apart to study the anatomy of the fish. So different things go into it, educational purposes and whatnot. And last but not least is when we go to bury the fish or dispose of them, then they're already frozen and not decaying, so we can go ahead and dispose of them properly. We don't have to deal with rotting flesh. So looking at this 4,400 gallon tank, you guys might remember we put all this lava rock in here for the colony of convict cichlids. Now, we spent a good time catching a lot of the convict cichlids out of here. Some did get picked off, but the convict colony made its way out to the big 58,000 gallon pond, which is right out there. You guys know there's a huge colony of convicts out there. So I was looking at this tank and I was like, well, we don't really need this lava rock in here no more. So we're going to do a formation in that back corner, keep the formation in the middle, and do a formation in that back corner. Take out everything along this 7-foot wall on each side that we created caves for the smaller fish to live in. So now it'll open up a whole pretty much 5 by 14 path across the whole front of the tank. Give these guys a little bit more room in here. Because you look at this tank and you're like, oh, this tank's overcrowded. But what you don't understand is this tank is actually 7 foot deep from front to back. So you might see all these fish coming here. These two pacu are like 4 foot apart. He's swimming forward as he's swimming by, so they look like they're right on top of each other. But right here, this golden dorado, he's putting on some size to him, man, let me tell you. And he's starting to get the attitude to back it up, too. This golden dorado and the big boy Peroon shark, where is he at? There's the small Peroon shark. The big Peroon shark is about twice his... Oh, he's right here. There's small one, there's big one. These guys came in at the same time. We bought them back last year, right after the Monster Fish Bash. Rod shipped them to us, and they were about an inch long. And now I'd say he's probably 2 foot or so. The small one there, I'd say he's probably 17 inch, maybe 18 inch. But it's kind of hard to say because this window does have a demagnifying effect on it. So the fish actually are bigger than what you see through the window. But back to what I was saying, that big Peroon shark and this golden dorado are pretty much fighting for tank boss right now. It's not getting aggressive. They're just warding each other away, telling them, this is my tank, or no, this is my tank, because he is one of the kings of the Amazon. He's one of the fastest fish down there in the Amazon. They are super powerful. They get big, and they look beautiful. This guy here, he's a threat in himself over in Asia, though. So them two are pretty much duking it out here for supreme being in the 4,400. As you guys can see, this is Kraken. This is a flower horn, and he's absolutely beautiful. And actually, it's not a he. Kraken is a she. I am sorry. So the name's not really fitting, but that's the name that was given to us with the flower horn. And his daddy comes and visits him all the time. Surprisingly, he's getting along in here with everyone. As you guys know, we've got jaguar cichlids back there. We've got bocordy. There is some Persei in here. We do have a big black belt in here. So the cichlids tend to get along just fine. You guys do remember the passing of Bert. So we still have Sir Heisenberg von Fishface. I might try and putting another gourami in there so we can have a friend. Who knows, I might try this leucistic gourami down here and see if they can get along. Because I did try that leucistic gourami in with the 2,200 gallon tank, And that little albino gourami right there is just an absolute bully. He does not like tank mates, but he is a true albino, so I kept him in this tank with the catfish, where he leaves everybody alone. So looking at this tank, you guys remember we had 4 of the armadas in here, and we had to take one out because this big guy was being a bully to him. When we took him out, we healed him right back up and stuck him back in there, tried seeing if they'll get along again, and nothing. So I had to take him back out that night, and we put him over here in the 700-gallon tank. Now he's right there, he's fine. Now if you guys see, it kind of looks like he has no teeth. But if you guys know anything about armadas, they do shed their front teeth. It just so happened he shedded both of them at the same time. I'm not sure if I can get a close enough look at him, but you can see his new teeth are actually starting to come back in. Now they fold down inside of his mouth, and when they're about to pop up, they'll actually fold forward, and then he'll reset his teeth in his mouth. So if you guys can see, there's a little start of a tooth starting to poke out. So I think within a day or two, he'll have his fangs back. And you guys can see the flare eels are doing great. They're absolutely just massive. The tarpon are almost fully healed up now. They've got that sac around their eyes back, and it's all healed up. They're looking great. These Arapaima are putting on some size, of course. And you guys might say, what's that thing? That right there is a 12-inch or so. That is a platinum alligator gar. Now, this is not something that we rescued. We do help out fellow fish keepers an awful lot. So we had a buddy of ours who actually donates to us quite frequently, and he's an avid supporter of Ohio Fish Rescue, has been for a long time. One of his dream fish were a platinum alligator gar. He asked us if we can assist him in finding one. So I not only did that, I found him an absolutely stunning species. So a lot of the alligator gar that you get in, they might be white, but they'll have some black spotting to them. This one is absolutely perfect. I see no impurities on him at all, no deformities. He's eating well, and his color is just blinding. This is just under a low-grade light that I just have on this tank to light up the fish, and he looks absolutely beautiful. So he will be going to his new owner actually tomorrow morning. He's flying in on his plane. He's coming to take some fish. Well, he's coming to take this fish, and I think he's going to end up taking an arowana from us and some Oscars and some other random fish that we have that we didn't mind giving up to him. But we did help him acquire this beauty right here. Now you guys might ask, did you guys look into his tank size? Yes. He has a 2,000-gallon aquarium at his house that this guy will be living in for the rest of his life. Now, if you guys think 2,000 gallons, how big is that? Well, this guy right here that has this 3 foot or so, I'd say he's probably 34-inch platinum redtail. This is a 2,200-gallon tank, so it's not much smaller than this tank at all. It will be 100% perfect for this little baby platinum alligator gar. So you guys know we got these tanks inside here. Now we figured what we're going to do is we're going to put this 1,000 first in line. We're going to then put the 2,000 and this 700 down on the end. So we got to play a little bit of Tetris to get these tanks where they need to go. The stands will be being set up here in just a little bit. But we did get the paint in the mail because we are going to recoat the insides of these before we set them up. But before I can do that, we're going to go ahead and rip out this corner overflow, give the fish a little bit more room. There's a bottom 6-inch bulkhead cut into this tank. I'm actually going to patch that and re-fiberglass the bottom before I go ahead and paint it. And that's going to gain them a little bit of tank room here. So this tank of 1,000, this 2,000 is actually going to be recoated too. My dad's trying to convince me to actually cut out the center portion of this overflow because there's a drain on each side. So basically 30 inches in, he wants to cut it, and then 30 inches in, he wants to cut it and open up this whole back so the pacu can actually have more room. We might actually do that and give the pacu a little bit more swim room, because as you guys know, this is going to be the pacu tank, dedicated to nothing but pacu, because that is one of our #1 fish that we get in here at the rescue. So you guys know I give you a little bit of juicy facts to look forward to. We picked up yet another tank, this beauty right here. I'm not going to give you any of the information on it because that will be coming in a video very shortly. It might even be here in the next few days, but we had a few things we had to do to it to get it up and running. So you guys will be able to join us on that whole issue there with that tank. And you know, you guys are probably going to enjoy it because you learned something from that video on how to fix an acrylic aquarium. But also looking forward to out here. We still have not gotten these tanks stocked yet. We've been very, very busy. So this tank is filled with water. The fill filter is cycling. But as you guys can see, we added in this rock waterfall here. Not sure if we're going to keep it, but I actually brought out some more houseplants, more pothos, more there. And as you guys can see, it's starting to climb all over this whole river system. I'm starting to really, really enjoy this out here, and I hope you guys are enjoying it too. So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of update on what we're doing around here, and hope you guys enjoyed the November edition of the update. I will be doing some feeding videos for you guys coming up, and I will be doing a stock video to show you guys all the fish that we currently have in stock here at Ohio Fish Rescue, whether they're adoptions or they're just our, you know, our mascots and the fish that are staying here for life. So I actually appreciate you guys for stopping by and taking the time to watch today's video. Hit that like button, comment down below. We always love that stuff. We love communicating with our fans. You guys are absolutely awesome. So I just want to say I appreciate you guys, and thanks for stopping by. And as always, stay fishy, my friends.